Cool. Oh, you guys had a cold call earlier today, right? Awesome. So I want to do something cool. We downloaded Skype on the computer in the back, which is like our control center, which controls all this shit. And for some reason, the Skype is not loading up my entire call center conversation. So that's why I was like a minute or two delayed. I just ran to my computer, loaded it up, took a couple screenshots, and sent it to my Google Drive just so I can show you guys some examples, okay? How many of you guys have ever ran a call center? Put your hand up real quick. One. All right, awesome. Worked in. Cool. You guys know too. Okay, cool. You know what the point of a call center is?
To make contacts?
Yeah, it's just to make a massive amount of calls fast. How many of you guys would like to take the cold calling thing that I taught you earlier today and like go from 0 to 100? Yeah. Like multiply it by 100, right? You think that'd be pretty cool? Yeah. Want me to show you guys how to do it?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, I'm not gonna do it.
Awesome. Yeah!
Yeah. So guys, I want to show you a quick screenshot. So this is what my day used to look like in Skype. So we had a group chat in Skype. It was called the Social Agency Call Center. And all of the reps were in that chat. And as we kept, obviously when you're in a call center, you're swapping reps in and out. Bad ones go out, good ones come back in, good ones stay. And then there's a manager who manages the team in the call center, which is in the Philippines, right? So this is my Filipino call center, okay? As you can see, this is one day. Now, guys, keep in mind, 6:58 p.m., their time zone's all fucked up, right? They're in the Philippines, so it's not the same as here. But you can imagine, you can see so far today, so every day, or actually not every day, every couple of hours, one of the project managers, in this case a project manager we had, her name was Jeannie. She was the one who was accountable for QAing everything, sending me Excel docs of all the leads, queuing all of the phone calls at the end of every day, making sure that the reps were actually saying the right thing, actually scheduling calls, making sure that they're saying everything in the script, making sure that they're talking about like the follow-up, like, okay, just to confirm this and this and this, right? Because all those things are very important, right? So, get this out of the way real quick. So this is what my day used to look like, right? So you used to say, as of 7:58 a.m., Armin has scheduled 5 bookings, Jenny scheduled 8 bookings, and Francisco scheduled 9 bookings. You have 22 scheduled calls on your calendar today so far. Yeah, imagine having a calendar like that. So we used to walk in, and our calendar was like completely slam-packed. There was not a minute for us to fucking breathe. We just had back-to-back calls all day. Okay, I think I took a couple more screenshots. I tried to pull whatever I could. And this is what it looked like. So they used to actually book a call, right? And we used to use Schedule Once back in the day, before now we use Calendly. But Schedule Once on the confirmation page, they used to give you confirmation of the actual scheduled call after you schedule it. They used to just copy and paste the entire confirmation page right into here every time they actually scheduled an appointment. Okay, so not that we did anything with that, this is just proof, and what happens is it gets everybody else excited. They're like, oh my god, he got one, now I gotta get one, right? So this, we didn't do anything with this, because the second that they schedule, automatically goes straight into the CRM system. So this did nothing for us. This was just them saying, hey, ring the bell, like I got a lead, right? And get everybody excited in the fucking pipeline, or in the actual Skype channel, right?
Thank you very much.
This is basically what it looked like. Hey, Armin, Jenny, Francisco, 20. So 3 people, you can see just 3 people in that one day generated 22 scheduled appointments. And they did that with the exact script that I showed you guys. I don't know where it is. The one that I gave you guys earlier today, that's the exact script that they were using to generate these leads, okay? On average, we used to do on the low end, depending on how many reps we had, calling out on the fronting side, probably about like maybe 5 to 10 actual booked calls per day on the calendar, call is scheduled, all the way up to sometimes 40 and 50 per day. Yeah, depending on how we ramped up and down, right? So if you can think about that, how many of you guys right now are struggling just getting 1 appointment on your calendar? Put your hand up real quick for me and be honest. Don't be that person, okay? Struggling with 1 person. Okay, cool. So imagine coming into a call center and walking into something like this, and the cool part about this is you didn't have to do it. How many guys want to do that? Well, you don't have to do shit. Well, I'm not going to say that actually. You do have to do shit, but you don't physically have to be the one calling. Okay, now I'm going to put a little disclaimer and a pro tip out. 1, do not do this if you have not done this shit yourself first. Don't do it. Do not open a call center. Don't plan on doing it. Don't go home today. I'm going to give you guys my call center's contact when we leave here today. I'll give it to you now, okay? You can reach out to him on Skype. Save him as a contact. Do not hire him. okay? Until you actually go out and do it yourself, okay? If you go out and you don't do it yourself and you hire these reps to go out and do it, you're just gonna burn through money. I promise you, I've done it. It's a waste of time, okay? Even though I'm giving you guys the script, you guys still have to actually do it yourself so you understand the psychology, you understand the rebuttals, you understand everything. So when your project manager gives you a report like this at the end of the day, you understand, are these good numbers or are these actual bad numbers? You understand everything that's happening, okay? How many of you guys think it's a good idea to open a restaurant if you never cooked anything before? This makes sense, right? How many guys think it's a good idea to open up a gym if you never worked out before? Right? It doesn't make any sense. So don't do shit if you haven't done it yourself first. You're just burning your time, you're burning your money, and then you're gonna take an exit in a week after it doesn't work because your pants are down to your ankles. You're screwed, right? So like, do it first. Very simple. Take 15 to 30 days, okay? Do it yourself. Once you have it good, where you feel comfortable, where you yourself, keep in mind, you are going to get more leads than the reps in the Philippines will, 100%. I used to do a run like this. I used to schedule like 20, 30 calls in one day. One day. You just saw me, I sat here and did cold calling, and in like 15 minutes I got, what, two people to say yes, right? So I just keep doing that all day, right? And then tie into what I'm about to show you, which is the predictive dialer, which now instead of, anybody know what a predictive dialer, hand up real quick? 2, 3, 4, call tools, yeah. 3, awesome. So for those of you guys who don't know what it is, I'll explain real quick. Predictive dialer is a phone system in which you upload leads to, and as a human would go out and they would actually go out, how do you actually dial, right? You pick up the phone, think about the time that it takes. Pick up the phone, what's the number? Oh, I missed a 3, gotta go back. Okay, it's taking like 30 seconds just to dial the number, right? And then you gotta wait now, phone is ringing, okay? And then you're like 2 minutes into it and you haven't even got the person on the phone yet, it went to voicemail. Right? And then you got to do it again. Who's done that before and just dialed out, right? I did that shit for a long time, right? Just dial out. That shit sucks. Okay? So the way that Call Tools works, and the reason why I like Call Tools, and I don't have an affiliate program with them, I'm not sending you to an affiliate link. I'm telling you I've used it. You can use it. Okay? The person, the rep that you want to speak to, who's the VP of Call Tools, his name is Chase. That's my contact there. So you can go out and reach out to him. You go to calltools.com. I'm going to whip open Call Tools and I'm going to show you guys how to use it in just a second. You can reach out to him. His name is Chase. He'll hook you guys up, whatever you guys need. Okay? So the way that a predictive dialer works is instead of you hand dialing one by one, you upload a list into the system and you can set it up. There's a couple different ways you can do. You can do a power dialer or you can do a predictive dialer. Okay? Power dialer basically means you can set channels on a power dialer. So if you have one rep calling, which let's say you just want to use Call Tools for yourself, tomorrow you sign up Call Tools, you jump into Call Tools, right? And you want to start making some phone calls. You're going to go log into Call Tools, okay? And you're going to set yourself up to maybe have like 4 or 5 channels, right? So what that channels means on a power dialer, it means it's going to call 4 people at the same exact time in the background. You're not going to have nothing. You're just going to have your headset on, and the first person to pick up the phone gets automatically connected into the system within a split second, and it beeps. You just hear a beep in your thing, and you start talking right away. Bang. Hey, this is John. And then the second you're done, again, it does the same thing. Now, Call Tools works best when there's multiple people in, okay? And I'm going to show you why. All right, so let's say if you have multiple people inside of the actual Call Tools app. Let's say you have, I found that about 3 or 4 reps is usually pretty optimal for Call Tools. That's where you get like the most, because there's a number they need to look at. It's called an abandon rate, right? What that basically means is Call Tools is calling 4 people every person, right? So if you're running a power dialer, the way that it's going to work is however many people are open, it's going to call 4 people here. It's going to call another 4 people here, right? So what's 4 times 4? 16. So every time, let's say if there's 4 people open and nobody's on an actual call, the system's going to call 16 people every time. 16 people. So imagine the volume that you can take like that. We used to crank this shit up to like 10, and our abandon rate used to go way up. We used to get like the second you hang up, boom, there's another call comes right in. But then you burn through leads, okay? So you don't want to do that. So you can go this route, or what we used to do is once you have enough people in the system, you can actually go the predictive dialer route, okay? The predictive dialer route, basically Call Tools has a system that they've built in the back end where they calculate your abandon rate based on what's going on. So you set your abandon rate to have no more than, let's say, 15%, which basically means if 100 people actually answer the phone, 15 of them, we're just going to hang up on them because there was no rep available. You get what I'm saying, guys? So call 100 people. If all 100 people answer, the system is just going to hang up on 15 of them. Okay, but they're going to know that we hung up on them. We're going to call them back. Okay, because the system will automatically mark them as an abandoned call. Okay, so the reason why I'm telling you this is you don't want your abandon rate to be too high, because what are you doing? You're just burning through your lead, just fucking hanging up on everybody, right? So you got to control that. Yeah, what was that?
And you're breaking TSR.
And TSR, yes. So
What is that? What is that? TSR?
Yeah.
the terms of service, is that what you're talking about?
Telephone sales rule.
Telephone sales rule. Okay, yeah. So there's many different ways you can do this. Okay, we'll go through a couple of them. You can go white hat, black hat. You can do whatever you want. Okay, we'll tell you the regulations and rights. All right. So going this route, once again, going through the predictive dialer, you can call multiple people at the exact same time. Okay, and the system will automatically know how many reps are in the system at once. Okay, and it'll start shifting things over. Okay, so if 2 reps are in, it'll automatically lower the channels or higher the channels based on the percentage of what you want to do. In my opinion, if you guys want to write this down, you don't want to go higher than like a 15% abandonment rate. 15% is like where I found the sweet spot when we were doing the call center. Okay? Who wants me to crack open Call Tools and show you guys how to do this shit?
Yes.
Nah, I don't feel like doing that. All right, cool.
You want to keep that down. It's at 3. I thought it was at 5, but you got to be at 3. That's like the
Abandon rate?
yeah. That's according to TSR.
Okay.
Or else you run the risk of
Yeah. Look, there's many, I think, one thing we should say and keep it out in the open, when you're running a call center or you're doing anything to the masses, whether it's text messages or emails, there's regulations and limitations that you need to go by. You're 100% right. Some people do it, some people don't. Some people live on the edge. Some people do it and will stay within that 3%. It's completely up to you guys, okay? If 3% is the actual regulation, then you should write that down. That's totally cool. I'm telling you from my experience, I was doing 15%. I was living on the edge. But that's just me. You guys can do whatever it is that you want, okay?
Chad, what was the gentleman's name? Call Tools again?
Chase. Yeah, Chase. Yep. Now guys, so with Call Tools, I use Call Tools in a couple different use cases. When I had my call center, I was using Call Tools for that, okay? That was one use case. Second use case of when I was using Call Tools was for DashClicks, when we were doing, or you guys saw on Pipedrive, there was a Call Tools, I think it was like 8 to 30 days or something like that. There was a little slot, right? So all the leads used to go into Call Tools, and then we had somebody that would go into Call Tools once a day and just fire out a bunch of calls. The predictive dialer would connect them. We'd say, hey, it's Matt from the Dash Connect team over at DashClicks. I'm in your DashClicks account. I see you never scheduled your call. I just want to see if I can schedule the call for you. You can do it right over the phone with one of our Dash Connect members, and we can go through the whole platform for you. Right? So that's what we use this for. That's where you see these little campaigns and stuff like here. It doesn't really matter what this is. I'm going to show you guys how to basically use the system, and then you can use it how you want. Sound good?
Yep. Yeah.
With that? All right, awesome. Cool. So, first thing that you want to do is, I think we should probably start with this, lists. There's many different ways that you can actually generate lists, like data. We're going to talk about the ethical ways, and then we're going to talk about the unethical ways. I'm not going to tell you what you want to do. You can do whichever one you want, okay? The ethical ways to do it is to go out to exact data. You can buy data, okay? I think you can buy like 5,000 records for like 300 or 400 bucks or something like that, right? So you can go out and you can get a list of 5,000 plumbers that live in Florida that make over $1 million a year, and that's your target market, right? You can niche down to whatever it is that you want, okay? You can use exactdata.com. That's one resource. We've used them in the past. You can use Info Group USA or Sales Genie, either or. It's owned by the same company. So Sales Genie or Info Group USA. Use both of those.
What was the second one, sorry? Info USA?
Yeah, Info Group USA. Yeah, if you just Google them, they'll come right up. Info Group owns Sales Genie. Yeah.
So they can get information like outside of the U.S.?
Sales Genie?
Sales Genie is USA and Canada, I believe. Exact data, not 100% sure. I know it's obviously US. I don't know if they go outside of that. I'm not sure, to be honest. We were calling people in the United States, so it's a good question. You probably reach out to them. There's also other places where you can buy data from. Ethically, you go out there and buy that. Or you can go the unethical route and you can use scrapers like D7, Scrapebox. I'll give you guys a couple of them. Local Scraper, Atomic Scraper, something like that. Atomic Scraper, which that one's not that good anyway, so it doesn't matter to write that down.
Why are those unethical?
Because you're not technically allowed to go and scrape information from websites and then use them for your benefit to go out and call or email and stuff like that.
Not opt-in.
What was that?
Not opt-in.
Yeah, they didn't opt in. Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just going to be open about it. We use both. We don't do it anymore. We use both. Yeah.
What about the, open? I guess it's free for businesses.
Yep.
What is that? Is that law changed or anything like that?
I know for calling, I know a lot of the times, like calling,
Yeah.
robocalls you can't do, especially if you're doing it to personal cell phones.
Right, but
That's-
to a business,
Yeah.
it's still fair game, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I think it's always,
Cell phone.
yeah,
Right.
not cell phone, yeah, but he's talking about business line, I
Even
think.
if it's like if you're calling these contractors,
Yeah.
they all use their cell phone.
Right, but
Their
they're
numbers on
TCP.
public information. Yeah, but it's
It still breaks TSA policy, TCPA policies, yeah.
okay.
Once again, there's tons of people that do it. I mean,
You can call the office number and then it automatically goes to their cell phone, so is that a problem?
you can do that.
Which phone
I'm
number
just
you-
telling you
Yeah.
from personal experience. I've actually gotten hit with
Have you?
of
Okay.
demand letters. Like now, because it's such a big thing,
Yeah.
TCPA is huge. They will send you. Even if it's just a template, they will
Yep.
send you one of these demand letters and threaten you that if you don't pay the $1,500 that they're wanting for breaking that violation,
Yep.
they're going to turn you in or they're going to sue you. And
So that's
then you
like
gotta pay
the
for
business
court
does it? Who sends you the
Yeah,
letter?
whoever. Yeah, I
Okay.
had a real estate agent do it recently. I've had
that would be okay.
roofers do it.
Yeah, there's people that'll fish and they'll
Oh,
they'll go out there and
online that sell these courses that their lawyers or whatever teach you how to go get
Yeah,
guys like
yeah.
doing what we're doing.
most of those though are for the most part are more of like a lot of robocall stuff. I don't know if you're doing robocalls,
We're power
regular
dialing.
calls, yeah, power dialing through, yeah.
And
So-
it's cost of doing business, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, living on the edge. It's not really. You're not breaking the law, but
Yeah.
you're just.
But let's just say you're not gonna fucking go to like jail and get locked up.
No,
You're gonna have to pay like a small fine or something like that. I'll be honest with you. I made millions of dollars doing it. Never happened to me. If I was to pay $1,500 or
It's
even,
worth it.
it's a no-brainer for me. Okay, that's just my honest opinion. Okay, yeah. So that's just my honest opinion. But yeah, check with your attorney. I'm not an attorney. If you guys want to go that route. Let's just say that Call Tools has probably thousands of users doing very similar use cases. We're not the only ones doing it. Everybody uses power dialers, predictive dialers. Most call centers will actually use that and will use either scrape data or purchase data or whatever it is. It's not like a hidden secret. A lot of people use power dialers, predictive dialers. Okay. Once again, I think anything you do can be considered unethical, even like sending mass emails or sending mass text messages, stuff like that. Yeah.
Just to get reoriented in the call tools, where you said there's two different versions.
Yep.
The channels.
Yep.
What was that characterized?
So there's power dialers and then there's predictive dialers.
So power dialer is the first stage.
Yep. There's another one too that I don't think we ever used. Here, I'll go to it. Yeah, so there's power dialer, predictive dialer, and preview dialer. Yeah, preview dialer we never use. That's like showing the number, then you click a button and then it'll call. That's just a waste of time. And then you have power dialer and predictive dialer. Yep. Power dialer, in my opinion, use if you have like less than 3 reps in the system. Predictive dialer I would use sometimes if we had more. Honestly, sometimes we would also change it up too.
Does it
Yeah.
track answer rates on the
Yeah.
people who? So just curious, because
Yeah.
B2B, there's a lot of a high answer rate. Why predictive?
What are you talking about? B2B?
When you're calling business to business,
Yeah.
right? Most people, a lot of times, answer their phone, like 90% of the time.
Depends. Cell phones definitely have a higher open rate, 100%. Because if you're calling a business, most of the time you're either getting a receptionist or you're just, in general, getting voicemails and shit like that. And it's not so much of the answer rate, it's almost digging a little bit deeper, and it's like, am I actually going to speak to somebody who's somewhat of the decision maker? That was what we kind of based it off. We wanted to get closer to the business maker, the business owner.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can choose either power dialer or predictive dialer, either route that you guys want to go to. So once you have your list, basically, all it is you're taking that list, it's an Excel file, and then you're going into here, you're going into phone lists, and you're uploading that phone list, right? So you just click upload right here, click it, upload your phone list, and then you map it out. If any of you guys use a CRM system or anything like that, map first name to the first name, last name to the last name, email to the email, whatever it is, okay? Right? So you just map out the fields, and then you have all of your lists here, and then you create a new campaign, okay? So you go in, you create a new campaign. I'm just gonna go to one of the examples that I created, so you guys can probably just use this as an example. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. Ethical, unethical, we'll go down that line again. I'm just gonna show you guys the way that we did it, and it worked, and then do it if you want, don't do it if you don't want. Like I said, I haven't ran into any issues. Name is just the name of the campaign. Caller ID type, this is probably something that you should know about. So call tools is a pretty cool feature where you can do group random, we never really did single number, group local or group state match. We always used state match. That can get a little bit more expensive, and the reason why is you need to purchase a phone number for, we used to purchase multiple phone numbers for every single state. And the reason why is, if I call you, let's say, what's your area code?
818.
Cool. If I call you from a 954 number, what are the chances you're going to answer me?
Yeah, I get that problem.
Yeah, if I call you from an 818 number, what's the chances you're going to answer me? You might think it's your friend or some shit, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we used to do. We used to actually go out and purchase a bunch of phone numbers, and then we used to pick this right here, which is basically group state match. So the system will automatically match the area code that that person is in, and if you have a phone number that's available with either in that area code or that state, it'll automatically match it up, and we'll use that number on the caller ID. So when you get the phone call from me, you think it's a local person calling you. So you get a higher actual answer rate.
Do you need multiple local numbers? Like, say, one area code, if you're calling, like, Massachusetts, you need multiple
Preference.
because you have more.
What I did when we were running the call center is I went through every single state, and I used to do like population based, so the cities in the state with the most population. I would purchase, like California, I would purchase like 3 or 4 different phone numbers that have different area codes, right? I would go to Florida and I would do like Miami, I would do Orlando, and I would do Tampa, right? Or I would pick like the big markets in each and every state, and I would purchase phone numbers. And at one point I had like 200-300 phone numbers in there. That'll cost you, if you're gonna go that route, it's gonna cost you a couple $100. So I think every phone number.
Do you need that for the system making that?
No, you don't need it.
More volume, or does it always use that one?
You just use one phone number if you want.
It increases the response rate.
It increases the answer rate. Yeah. Yeah, but you can do it if you just want to do it with one, you can do it with one. Just to like start up, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to go out and buy 300 numbers. That's just optimization, right? So I'm just talking to you guys about like future proofing, like the things that you can do to actually future proof this whole system. Okay? I'm going to go through this a little bit faster because I know we're cutting short on time, so I'm going to keep going here. And I think I have
3 minutes now.
Yeah. 3 minutes left. Yeah, actually we do. All right, but we'll keep going a little bit more. We'll extend. Any of you guys cool if I go over like 10, 15 minutes?
Go.
All right, cool. Awesome. Good. So then you go down here, and then you click your start date. It just automatically do it. End date, draft it over for like 2 years. That doesn't matter. Okay. Start time and end time is very important. What you want to do here is put 9 to 5 if that's the times that you're going to be calling. Okay. Time zone dialing hours. So this is basically means it's going to, based on the area code, it's not going to dial that person at 6 in the morning. Now, if you have an 818 number, but you live in Florida, we can't track that. We don't know that. So you might get a call at 6 a.m., which it's happened a couple times. But you want to put 9 to 5 so that way you're calling people during normal business hours. Okay. Campaign type. Power dialer, predictive dialer, either one you want to choose. I've tested both, to be honest. My opinion, I would test both and see what works best for you. They both work pretty well. If you have more people in the system, I like using predictive dialer. If you have less people in the system, I like using power dialer. That's my preference. When I was using power dialer, see, I was running 5 channels per agent. So I was making 5 calls for every 1 agent that I had in the system. Okay. Abandoned option basically means if somebody picked up the phone and there was no agent available, what do? Hang up. The system would just hang up on the person, okay? Access permission, that doesn't matter. It's all standard shit. This doesn't matter. Live answer suppression, voicemail suppression, so go through all that stuff. One thing that you can do, it's completely up to you, so you can scrub federal DNC, you can scrub company DNC, and you can, redials you want to have on. Federal DNC basically means there are people that actually have went on, like you were saying, through the TCPA, and they've literally put their phone number to be opted out of getting these phone calls. So obviously you don't want to call those people, so what you want to do is check that off. Okay, now I have it unchecked. The reason why I have it unchecked is because these are people who gave us the authority to call them through Dash. These are people who signed up through DashClicks, and if they're on the federal DNC, it doesn't matter. Through our terms and conditions, we're allowed to call them.
I got it.
Yeah,
For you guys.
go ahead.
You sign up for DNC.com. They have a litigator scrub list, which is very helpful.
Yeah.
You can scrub your list first for potential litigators, and they keep track of everybody.
Nice.
That.
It's like a blacklist.
For a living.
Yeah, it's like a blacklist.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
suing people for a living, so
Yeah,
you keep them.
very, very good. Very good. Company DNC, so basically as you're making phone calls, you can put people on the do not call list where a person answers the phone, he's like, fuck you, stop calling me. You just put them on the do not call list, you'll never call that person again. Right? So you want to make sure that's checked off on all campaigns so you don't burn through time or money. Okay? Dial order, you always want to put in the newest leads first. Depending on how you're uploading if you're uploading a list of 1,000, you're going to burn through 1,000 really quick. You can burn through like 1,000 numbers in a day. Okay, so just giving you guys a heads up. Agent script. So one thing I like about call tools is the fact that you can actually load up templated scripts here. I'll go through scripts in just a second. The script that I uploaded, if you'll see on the actual script that I gave you guys, it had like little parentheses type things on there, right? So what's cool is in call tools, you can inject the data in there, and when you're making a phone call, when the person receives the phone call, on the right side, it automatically populates the script and injects all the business information. So the person in the Philippines literally just reads off the script. They don't even have to think or look to be like, oh, fuck, what's the business name? What's your phone number? Let me verify it now. It's embedded and injected into the script. Okay, and also the reason why I like call tools, and for you guys, especially for any of you guys who've never used it, their support's freaking awesome. They're based in Cali, and they'll call you, they'll walk you through the whole thing, they'll set up. That's why I'm not really going too much in depth, because you can call them, and they'll literally spend 2 hours and set up your whole campaign with you for free, okay? So I would highly recommend using call tools, this is my honest opinion. Scroll down, transfer caller ID, callee phone number. So just the caller ID, where to transfer it to. This really doesn't do anything because we don't do transfers. If somebody calls back, I just send them straight to voicemail. And the voicemail, I might say, it could be anything. Like, hey, this is Bobby, just called you because was giving you a free website, whatever it is. I don't really do much with voicemails because I have a redial list, and I'll go over that too. So DNC area codes, DNC states. Well, don't need to worry about too much of that unless you want to like opt out. This is an important one, which is a redial template. So let me go into that really quick because that was probably one of the major ones that we had. So this was our redial template. So what this basically means is, hey, if the system got a no response on the first time that we've ever called them, call them back in 1 day. We didn't have to do anything. The system would automatically do everything. If they called them back again the second time, call them back again in 2 days after that, right? Same thing. If they didn't answer on the third day, call them back again in 2 days after that. Fourth answer. So you see how we kind of spread it down. If the line was busy, call them back. If the call failed, try to call them back. If we went to voicemail, call them back. If the call was abandoned, call them back. Then we had internal dispositions, right? So if you're on the phone call and the person who's on the phone, the guy on the other end is like, hey, call me back in 24 hours, I'm fucking taking a shit. The guy's like, okay, awesome. All the rep would do is they would select the disposition, call back in 24 hours. The system would automatically drop them into the redial rule, and the system, without us doing anything or remembering to call them back in 24 hours, system would drop them in, and the next day that the rep's on the phone, we'll call them back. We'll automatically throw them into the system on the redial. So we had them call back in 24 hours. See, and look, call back in 2 days, right? So we'll call back in 2 days. Call me back in 1 week. We call them back in 1 week. See that? So you set the rules inside of the system, right? That's pretty much it. That's for like the callback stuff, right? Let's go to, I want to do a couple more things with you guys. We'll extend it for like 5-10 more minutes, and then we'll go in. All right, this is a script. So this is actually the script that we had for DashDay. Or not DashDay, sorry, for Dash Connect. So these are people who signed up to the DashClicks platform. After they signed up to the DashClicks platform, they didn't schedule a call with us. They weren't here. We reached out to them. Okay? So you can see what happens. It just says, hey, and then first name is injected. You can actually use these macros, and you can inject the information in here. So when you upload the data, it's uploading it into a CRM, which is a contact system. It's a little mini CRM, right? So you go to contacts, and here's, as an example, a bunch of contacts, right? Let's go to this person. Okay, the system knows what their title is, it knows what their first name is, what their last name is, it knows what their phone number, it knows everything about the person, because you just uploaded the list and told call tools, hey, this is the person's first name, their last name, their email address, this is the city, state, this is what they live in, this is the company name. You get what I'm saying? So with that data, you can actually go out and you can customize your script, and that's what we used to do. We used to have a bunch of these. If we were calling plumbers, I think the script that I gave you had plumbers on there, right? Some shit like that, plumbers or painters, right?
Providing plumbing.
Providing plumbing, exactly. So when we would upload a list, we would upload it into the plumbing campaign, and every time we had a new plumbing list, we would take that list and upload it into the plumbing campaign and just refuel the list. And what it would do is it would take all that information and it would inject it here, would inject it here, would inject it everywhere. It would just get injected everywhere. So when that person is reading, the salesperson, they don't need to think, because if people are thinking too much, the call's not going to go good. Just read quickly, bang, right? So you say, hey, Bobby, it's Matt with DashClicks. Real quick, I see you signed up for a DashClicks account on, and we would put in inject a sign up date. So the person knew when the guy was signing up. I see that you signed up for your DashClicks account on May 3rd, 2019, but you didn't schedule a demo call yet. I was calling to see if you'd be interested in scheduling a call, and in doing so, I can offer you a 20% coupon code that you can use on your first order, okay? They say yes or no, obviously, right? So yes, continue schedule to call in Calendly, and they would just click the little button. No, ask for a reason why and disposition accordingly. So we know, we run a report, right? And for dispositions, agent dispositions, or actually, sorry, campaign, where is it? CRM, dispositions. There we go. So you can see some of the dispositions that we had. So dispositions, you want to think of what are the things that can happen during your call, right? So during this type of use case, the things that can happen is the person's like, oh, I already scheduled my call, right? Maybe the system slipped and it went in there for some reason, okay? So they would dispo it. Demo was already scheduled, or actually, sorry, this was a win. Yeah, they would dispo it already scheduled, right? If they actually schedule the call, they would disposition it as scheduled, or demo scheduled, and then in the disposition itself, it would count it as a win, right? Add DNC, or add sale made for prospecting purposes, or for reporting purposes, and then add to DNC. So what would happen is, I would add them to my do not call list, because I just scheduled a call with them, and I'm going to call them back again, right? I don't want to waste my time. And then I would also add that to the sale made for reporting processes. So when I pull a report at the end of the day, I can see how many scheduled calls I did, because that's the use case that I'm using it for, right? Make sense, guys? You guys all on the same page so far?
Two questions.
Yeah.
That last page, that page that you have there, that's pre-populated, or is that your custom?
This is my custom one.
Okay, and then secondly, you're saying replenish the list. Will the predictive dialer then spit out these numbers that have gone out that we haven't used, or what do you mean by that?
So a couple things that happen. One, when you're done with a phone call, let's say you hang up with a phone call, Call Tools automatically has a modal window that pops up, and it says disposition the call. So every call has to be dispositioned, right? So dispositioning is what, basically, disposition is what happened on that call. What do you want to do? What's the next thing we should do here? So I'm saying, hey, this call was scheduled, we're good to go. And when I click that, it adds them to the DNC list, it doesn't call them again, and it adds it as a win for my reporting. So I can say I got one win, right?
Okay, doesn't add it for a recall, but it maintains the number in the bank.
Once you add somebody to the DNC list, it will not call them again. Yeah, but their contact record will still be in there. Yeah, you just can't call them. Or the guy's like, hey, I can't make a decision right now. I don't know. I'm eating at my grandma's house. Call me back in 24 hours. Call them back. So these are all the things that could happen to us during that actual scheduled call. Make sense, guys?
Yes. Sir. One more thing then.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can keep all of our DNCs? How do we make sure that we don't repeat or do the same work again?
Repeat or do the same work.
Yeah, make sure that when we have a DNC, it's kept in there, like you said, it's on the call list. So how do we make, like, is it
That's all right in here.
purge that, or do we keep it to make sure that we don't
Yeah.
duplicate a DNC?
Where is it? So it's all built in here.
It's the suppression list?
Yeah, it's all built in here, so you can see like added duplicate. So it all gets added in here. Your DNC, you can manage it from here.
Thank you.
Yep. And then obviously reporting, so you can look at like things like call stats and stuff like that. So when I'm using reporting as an example, I go to reports and I click call stats. This is one of the pages that I like leaving open because I can just refresh and it'll show me how many active channels I got going on, how many active predictive agents are in the system, my abandon rate, my live answer rate, connected calls, dial attempts, and then it puts it on charts for me here. And then I also like live agent report. This is pretty cool because if you have 10 agents in the system, it lists out all the agents, and it's like a live feed. It updates every like 5 or 10 seconds or some shit like that. Yeah, update every 10 seconds, so it refreshes the page every 10 seconds.
Your guy from the Philippines, sorry.
Yep.
He has a price for if you have your own call tools and if you use his call tools. What do you recommend, using our own or using his?
So I like to use my own because I like my data. I want to control my system. I want to be able to set my disposition, do everything on my own, and then I just give them a user access. And if that person slips up or if I don't like that call center, I just remove the user and I go to somebody else.
You have to set ours up first and then give it to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
You set up your call tools account first. And then all you do is once you hire a rep, you go into your call tools account and you go to account, agents, add new agent, and then bam, you just add them in there and you set whatever you don't want them to see, want them to see, and things like that.
Have you found cold callers from the Philippines like effective? Obviously, you need to train them. But
Yeah, so what we were doing is all fronters, so there's fronters and closers. Fronters are your prospecting guys, those are the guys to get the guy, yes. Yeah, send me an Insta site, send me an Insta site. Yes, let me do this, send me this, right? They were interested, right? Getting people interested. Those are the fronter side. And then the closers were here at my office. Those are the guys that would jump into the calendar in the morning and say, oh, yeah, Bobby sent you over an email yesterday about the Insta site. We have a scheduled call today at 3:30. I'm going to share my screen and go over it with you really quick.
Right.
So my closers were here.
What about your Mexico call center? Why did you open that up again?
That was split testing on the fronter side because the Philippines has a language barrier, which is tricky, right? Because when you get a call from the Philippines, the first thing I think about at least is spam. What's this guy trying to sell me, right?
So how would that work with the accent? How do you?
It was so cheap that it worked still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like $3.50 or $4 an hour per rep. Tijuana was like $8 an hour per rep, so it was almost double that. But the people in Tijuana, because they were on the border, it was like bilingual, or not bilingual, like it was like the same culture, like the same. They were like spoke like perfect English. These guys, they were like it was like somebody from Texas who just lives in. It was weird. I don't know, right?
Nice.
So they were like, it was like hiring somebody here for like $15 an hour. No, you hire them in Tijuana for $8 an hour, and it's the same person.
And it's like a
same
contractor, right? So you're paying them like.
Yeah. So both call centers that I had, I didn't physically go there and like with a hammer and screwdriver build a call center, right? These call centers were built already, and that's what you want to do, okay? And when you have built like the call center in the Philippines, they have a room that fits like 100 people. Okay, and there's already like 50, 60, 70 people in there. So what happens is you don't have to deal with HR, right? Because that's the last thing that you want to do. All they do is you're like, okay, Chris, I want to go ahead and I want to add a new rep tomorrow. He's like, okay, great. I'll have 5 people lined up for interviews for tomorrow. And all right, I'm available between 12 and 1 to do interviews. And he will go and line everybody up. He'll bring everybody to the office. I'll jump on Skype at 12 o'clock. And I'll give them the script, and I say, read me the script. And they already have the script. Chris already trained them on how to use the script. So now all I'm doing is I'm just listening, and I know, all right, you're not good. And I'll tell Chris. Chris is like my friend. He's the owner of the call center. I'll give you guys him, right? It's him and his wife. It's like a family-owned call center, which I like. Chris would just bring 5 people, and then everybody would come in the room. They would read the script, and I would be the objection handler, right, to see how they were doing. I would physically test them out, and I would say, okay, cool, next, thanks, I'll let you know. Next. And I would run through like 5 people in an hour, and I would test them going back and forth, and I would say, okay, Chris, hire those 2, the other 3, let them go. They're not a good fit, whatever it is, right?
Did you put them in pipe drive after you got the equipment? What happened once
Yeah.
there was...
Yeah, good question. Fronters would only use call tools. Yeah, because all their job was doing is to dial and say get yeses all day and schedule people. And at the time we're using schedule once, right? And then from schedule once we had them going into Pipedrive, like a Zapier. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to cut it short. I got enough for one more question, and then we're gonna eat. Last question.
How do you guys pay the call center? Is it like they send you an invoice, so you're not paying like
Good question.
employees, right?
Yeah.
It's just
We used to use Upwork, and Upwork is pretty cool. The reason why I like using Upwork to pay the call centers is because they actually take screenshots of their screen while they're working throughout the day, so you know they're not just fucking around. That's one. It felt the level of security. Two, I'm not randomly sending money to some random guy in the Philippines and he's going to walk away. It's done through Upwork, and if I need, I can deal with it through Upwork. Okay? And then three, like you said, I'm not paying each rep separately. I'm paying the company. I was paying Chris, and he would go out and he has his own payroll, and he probably pays them $2 an hour. I don't know what he does, right? And that's just what it was. So that's what I was doing. And what another pro tip before we go eat, when you do it, add a spiff every time they do a scheduled call. We had a 50-cent spiff, which to us, obviously for us, it might not be a lot, but for these guys in the Philippines, if they're making $2 an hour, $2.50 an hour, and they're adding an extra, you saw the screenshot that I showed you, 5 scheduled appointments a day, 8 scheduled appointments a day, it adds up for them, on the week, right? So add a 50-cent spiff every time they do a scheduled call, motivates them, gets them excited. Okay? All right, guys, we're gonna eat real quick. Thank you. Let's add some pizza.
I wasn't trying to.